my 2025 social media strategy guide for entrepreneurs. Specifically in this playbook, I'm going to walk you through how I built an incredible personal brand from 0 to 1.4 million followers in just over a year, and also drove 1.2 million website visitors to my solo bootstrap startup called Blotato. I'm going to talk about how I've combined two different worlds, building a personal brand, but also succeeding as an AI SaaS solopreneur. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Sabrina Ramonov. She sold an AI startup for millions of dollars, and now I teach millions of people AI for free while also building a profitable SaaS app for content creators completely solo. I do not have a team for content creation, nor a team for building my SaaS product. Despite not having a team, despite not using paid ads, again, I've driven 1.2 million website views just this year alone in 2025 for my solo bootstrap company. So let's dive in, and let me start with why posting daily isn't enough. All the courses out there tell you to post every single day. I do think consistency is a really important habit to develop because most people just quit way too early. But with ChatGPT and generative AI, it is now super easy to have AI write a pretty good sounding post. So how do you stand out when everyone is using ChatGPT to create content? What I've seen is that people care most about the results you can demonstrate, whether that's social media growth, bringing in leads, or generating revenue. The more concrete the results you can share, the more credibility you will have, and the more you will stand out among the noise. But what do you do if you haven't achieved anything yet? It's really, really simple. Just document your journey and your goals. So if your goal is to make $20,000 per month with your new product, just state that and then document what you're doing along the way. A common mistake I see is that content creators building a personal brand focus a bit too much just on the content and not enough on actually doing meaningful stuff that people want to follow you for. They want to follow your journey. They want to follow along with what you're learning, with what you're trying, experimenting with, what's failing. Now, if you're building a personal brand, it is important to have like a clearly defined mission, like what is it you stand for that other people can latch on. So if you've been following me, you know that my mission is to teach 10 million people AI. I started with 1 million, I hit that, and now I added a 0 to my goal. For me personally, my goal with all of my content is to inspire people to take action and start playing around with AI tools, ultimately so that you can form your own opinion about them. I'm also passionate about solopreneurship and tiny startups, which is why I'm building Blotato solo. I really want to see how far I can go solo, how far I can scale myself, and show what's actually possible. Whatever your mission is, like try to write it down, and it's okay in the beginning if it's pretty fuzzy. You'll get clarity on what's important to you and what's not important to you, what feels genuine and authentic versus what doesn't, as you actually start creating more and more content. Before I dive into my playbook, it's really important you understand the constraints I'm operating under, right? So I personally do not pay for ads. I do not have a team. I don't even have video editors. I only make content 1 day per week. As a content creator, I don't do collaborations. I don't do paid posts. I don't do affiliate deals. I don't care about production or video quality. There's nothing I promote that I earn money from except my own SaaS product. Now, my philosophy here as a content creator also building a product is I want to maximize the time and effort I spend doing meaningful work building my company, and then use AI to just document what it is I've learned, challenges I'm facing, interesting observations, etc. So I'm very much not a full-time content creator. I only create content 1 day per week, which will shock you, but I'll walk through my schedule exactly. At a high level, my strategy mostly consists of saying no to a lot of things, which helps preserve my time, energy, and sanity to focus on making some high quality content and also building Blotato to be the best product possible. So what this means in practice is saying no to 99.9% of all of these types of requests: meeting requests, podcasts, advisory, coaching, consulting, investments, partnership, mentorship, and speaking engagement. My typical calendar looks like this because I say no to so many things. This huge block in purple is my day when I actually create content. And then Monday afternoon, I have office hours for Blotato users. That doesn't mean I say no to the tiny number of opportunities I say yes to, because I believe there's a long-term strategic reason or relationship. Starting with that is really important because one of the most common pitfalls I see is people trying to do way too much, way overcommitted, trying to build 3 different businesses at the same time while also building a personal brand and 2 faceless channels as well. Like, that's ridiculous to me. You should just choose one thing thing and say no to everything else. Now, once you're really good at saying no and protecting your time, then you'll have the time and mental bandwidth to execute on your strategy. And my strategy is really simple. I focus on making high quality original content on 1 to 2 platforms, YouTube for long form content, TikTok for short form content. Then I use a combination of AI and automation to repurpose my original content to multiple platforms. And ultimately, I drive everyone to my email newsletter, where sometimes I share how I use Blotato to grow on social media. I don't change the strategy every other month. It's all about like, am I executing enough and am I executing at a high quality? Usually when there's an issue, like my numbers are down, the issue is with volume or quality or both. So that brings me to what my funnel actually looks like. It's super simple. My top of funnel is all the short form platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Shorts, Threads, and Twitter. The middle of funnel is slightly longer form content, LinkedIn, Substack Notes, and YouTube. Then the very bottom of my funnel, where I want to drive everybody, is my email newsletter. I currently have around 118,000 subscribers on my email newsletter and a 40% open rate. Again, this is with zero ad spend, no team. I don't do promotion swaps with other newsletters, nothing like that. And I only send 1 email newsletter per week, sometimes 2. Whether or not you're building a separate product, if you are a creator slash influencer slash thought leader, email is going to be your number 1 highest ROI channel, like for sure. Even for most businesses, email is the channel. It's where you build a really deep, meaningful relationship with your audience. And if you check the bio of all of my social media profiles, they all direct you to my newsletter. So for example, here, if I go to TikTok, I only have 1 link. It is not a stand store or a link tree. I don't want to confuse people with 5 billion links. It only goes to, it's so important because you want to own your audience outside of social platforms. You want your audience to understand like the depth of your expertise and also the multiple dimensions of your personality, which can be hard to communicate in a short 30-second video. And you want control over your audience, meaning you want to be able to reach them whenever you feel like it, not dictated by the latest algorithm updates. So I am personally not a big fan of stand stores and link trees where there's like 10 different paths you could go down. I find it much easier to build a simple funnel. It's easier to reason about, it's easier to debug, it's easier to optimize, and it's easier to scale. Only metric I actually look at every month is whether my email newsletter list is growing. As long as it's growing, I know that my engine is working. And honestly, I don't stress over all the little things that are broken and messed up. Next, I'm going to talk about what kind of content is actually working well for me on social media platforms. Obviously, there are many other styles and formats that can also work. On TikTok, ChatGPT prompts are still really popular. I think it's because they're broadly applicable. So if I start talking about AI automations, only a very tiny niche percentage of my audience even understands the words that I'm saying. But if I talk about a ChatGPT prompt, like how to humanize AI writing, there are a lot more people who can understand what that means and also try it out for themselves. Listicles are also a tried and true format. So here are 8 YouTube channels you will learn more than 4 years in college. I've reposted this video multiple times exactly as is without any edits, and it performs well every single time. People love like simple listicles where you have done the work of curating things that are valuable. Obviously, making money with AI is another really hot topic. I'll open this one from Instagram. So this is a combination of curation and making money. And I have vetted each of these YouTube channels, so I feel good recommending this list. Now let's talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very different from TikTok and Instagram. What's working really well on LinkedIn at the moment, for better or worse, are these type of lead magnet giveaways where you lead with a result you've achieved either for yourself or for a client, and then you say, hey, comment this and I'll send you a playbook. For example, this LinkedIn post literally 2 days ago has 1,200 comments, 85,000 impressions, absolutely amazing for generating inbound leads. Now, a lot of people find this format very cringy, but in my opinion, it depends how frequently you're doing it and the quality of the results you're claiming, as well as the quality of the actual playbook you're delivering. So if you do this every single day, it's unlikely that what you're sending people is actually going to provide value. But if you do this once a week or once every other week, and you put a lot of time and effort into creating a valuable, helpful playbook for folks, I don't think it's cringy at all, especially if you're leading with the results you've achieved or results you've achieved for your clients. Celebration posts still do well on LinkedIn, for example, this one here, today I hit my goal with a nice selfie photo. This format does well on LinkedIn as well as Substack. My YouTube channel is pretty varied. My best performing video is actually literally a repurposed TikTok. I took one viral TikTok and just talked for 3 more minutes about the same topic, and this is my best performing video. Workflow automations also do really well on YouTube because there's a big community of N8N and Make.com users who are trying to learn how to build out these custom automations. Vibe coding is a really hot topic as well. So this is actually 1 year before the term became the term. Substack, I feel, is turning into Instagram, meaning like quote cards do really well, like this really simple quote card, which by the way is a reposted TikTok video. This is doing really well on Substack. On Hacker News, things like LLM experiments, as well as my interactive game learning LLMs, both of those went viral. And of course, there are other formats that can work. On LinkedIn in particular, you may have seen one-pager cheat sheets that work really well, interactive animated cheat sheets, as well as carousels containing step-by-step tutorials. Blotato now has a way to automatically generate these assets, which is really neat because it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I really don't like to sit there in Canva and make this stuff manually. Here, if you go into Blotato, go to the template section, you can choose different carousels as well as video templates. So if I want to make a tweet card, for example, this is already filled out with some sample data that you can replace with your data. Once I click create, it's going to automatically create a really nice looking tweet card like this, right? And this is just one of the templates. You can even pass in your avatar video and it'll create B-roll. It'll create AI selfie videos like this with a consistent character. It can create these neat quote card carousels like this, which are popular on Instagram. And you can even upload avatar videos and it'll generate relevant B-roll for the video. So for example, like this photo is from Nano Banana and it was automatically inserted by AI, analyzing the transcript of your video and then plugging that B-roll in. So I'm definitely going to be experimenting a lot more with these asset heavy formats, especially on LinkedIn, now that there is a semi-automated / automated way to actually make these, and I don't have to sit there in Canva drag and dropping stuff. So here's my typical schedule for creating content, but first, just to reiterate my strategy, make high quality original content, then use AI and automation to repurpose it, and ultimately drive everyone to my email newsletter where sometimes I talk about Blotato. So what typical day for content creation looks like? First of all, I only do it on Saturday. So I wake up, I drink coffee. Today is Saturday, so I'm in the middle of this, and then I film one long form YouTube video. If it's a workflow automation, I build it first and then film the video. And then what I do is I use Blotato to repurpose the YouTube video into a newsletter and social posts. That'll take a lunch break and work on 20 short form TikTok videos, iterating on feedback from the viral AI coach. And then I have an automation that whenever I post the TikTok video, it automatically downloads it and cross posts it to other social platforms. So by the end of Saturday, I have one new YouTube tutorial, one newsletter from the YouTube tutorial, a few social posts promoting the tutorial, as well as 20 new TikTok videos that are going to be cross posted everywhere. So let me talk through this real quick. So what does it mean for me to repurpose a YouTube video into a newsletter and social posts? So I'm going to grab my YouTube videos here. Okay, all I have to do is copy the link. I'm going to go over to Blotato, create post. I'm going to click add source, and you can add many types of sources such as YouTube videos, even TikTok videos, podcasts, PDFs, text, article, etc. Here I'm just adding my YouTube video, and what Blotato does is it grabs the entire transcript of the video pretty much instantly. Then I can choose which platforms that I want to make posts for. So let's say it's something like this, maybe TikTok as well. You can choose the prompt that you want to use. The default prompt is already optimized for each platform. And then when you click generate post, Blotato is going to repurpose your original YouTube video into social posts for each of these platforms. So here's a post for Instagram, here's the post for LinkedIn, okay, here's the post for Facebook, and then TikTok will be generated as well. And the neat thing here is, like, let's say you don't like it or you want to use a different prompt. For example, I like to use structured bullet points a lot for LinkedIn. So here there's a structured bullet points prompt. So you can see the entire prompt here before running it. If I click generate, now we have nice bullet points like this, etc., that you probably see a lot on LinkedIn. What I love about repurposing content is it starts with your own high quality original content. So I don't frequently repurpose other people's content. I just repurpose my own high quality content into these social posts. And you can add small tweaks and edits here, just to make it sound really truly more like you before you hit publish. So that's how I repurpose my YouTube video into a newsletter and social posts. I have a different prompt prompt for the newsletter, and then I use different prompts for the social posts. After doing the long form content, then it's all about the short form TikTok videos. So what I like to do here is Blotato actually has a built-in viral AI coach where you can get really incredible feedback. Like, I have watched a lot of videos on TikTok coaching, how to break out of 200 view jail, and I can tell you that the feedback you're going to get from this AI coach is worth at least $1,000 in courses and custom consulting. So here I'm going to upload one of my TikTok videos. You can use this unlimited, by the way. So I have Blotato users that use this all day long, and it's really helping them improve their hooks and get more views. If you're brand new to content creation, you upload a video, don't be concerned or overwhelmed that your initial score is probably going to be like 15 or 20 out of 100, and that's totally fine. Take the feedback, film it again, film another hook, and eventually you'll get your score up to the 50s and 60s range, which is like pretty good to start posting. Okay, here's the analysis. So you're going to see the video on the left side. And you can play it here so you can kind of line up with what the feedback is. This is the initial scorecard with your score, hook performance, content value. The final verdict is this could use some improvement. The most useful thing here, though, is the amount of detail and feedback you get. So this viral AI coach is not only analyzing your transcript and what you're saying, but also the visuals, especially in the first 10 seconds of your video. My hook is 18 out of 35. The initial text overlay aims to shock, but it's a common format, and the setting almost feels too relaxed, undercutting the urgency. So here's some suggested hooks instead, right? I got a pretty good score on the problem benefit statement, so I probably won't want to change that, but here are some additional hook ideas just for that. The sound on and off test just means like, can someone get value out of your video without turning on the sound? Information density, so am I packing a lot of information in a short space, which is important for short form platforms like TikTok and Instagram. And this is one I personally struggle with a lot, like emotional resonance and shareability. This one I'm actively trying to work on right now. And then the viral AI coach recommends 5 hashtags for your business. So 3 primary hashtags that already have a lot of reach, and then secondary niche hashtags. Although nothing can guarantee virality, the feedback from this AI coach, especially if you're new to content creation, will help you significantly get out of 200 view jail. Film those TikTok videos and iterate on feedback from my Blotato viral AI coach, which I just showed you. And then whenever I post a TikTok, it's automatically downloaded and cross-posted to other platforms. So that uses a combination of Blotato and N8N. This is what the workflow looks like. It uses this RSS tracker. Whenever I post a TikTok video, it downloads it, uploads it to my Google Drive just for storage purposes, then automatically cross-posts it to multiple platforms. By the way, you can grab a lot of automation templates for free over here if you go to help.blotato.com/API/templates. Now, the next part I'm not going to walk through in a crazy amount of detail, only because I've already filmed a YouTube video walking through it, but this is basically my playbook for TikTok, Reels, and Shorts, especially for education and thought leadership type of content, right? Choose one niche, create a main account, and warm it up. So I have a whole warm-up guide you can follow. Create a second TikTok account just for research purposes to get inspiration on hooks and different topics. Focus on quantity and consistency. Again, most people kind of just quit and stop making content. They don't really ever experience the momentum of having a video do well. And the hook is the most important part of every piece of content you put out, whether it's a video, whether it's a text post, whether it's a carousel, whatever it is, it's the single most important piece of your content, which is why the viral AI coach primarily focuses on giving you feedback on your hook. Here are some resources to help you. So this is a list of 1,000 plus curated viral hooks. This is another list of proven hook frameworks like the pattern interrupt, authority builder, problem agitate, before, after, etc. Tried and true approach that always works is to look at proven viral formats in your niche, look at those videos, and then basically copy that same format. So it could be a listicle, it could be a negative stop doing this type of thing, it could be a tutorial how I did this, or it could be breaking news. For me personally, I don't do a ton of editing, and that's just my style. It honestly works really well on TikTok. It doesn't work as well on Instagram, even though I've grown from 0 to 400,000 followers completely on autopilot on Instagram. I don't use Instagram and I don't know how to use Instagram. I would say that polished videos, I've noticed, do tend to perform a lot better than this TikTok raw style, but this can still definitely work. So again, these are just cross-posted from TikTok without any edit. So it definitely can work, but I have noticed polished content on Instagram tends to work even better. But for me personally, in my personal brand, I care about just showing up raw, authentic, and mostly unedited. So I don't use any fancy equipment. For filming short form videos, I just use my front camera TikTok mobile app and I talk. I do not have an external mic. I don't have an external camera. I don't use a teleprompter most of the time unless I'm reading a list, so I don't forget what's on the list. And that's pretty much it. Like truly, absolutely nothing fancy at all. No ring light, nothing like that. TikTok in particular, there's a really neat tool called Creator Search Insights, which allows you to search for what's trending and what people are searching for. In the beginning, I used this a lot, which helped because it shows you literally what people are searching for, but there isn't enough content about it. I don't use it very often now, but I did do an experiment where I used it for about 10 videos earlier this year, and those videos performed incredibly well, just addressing content gaps. Okay, now I want to segue a bit from just building my personal brand around AI education to driving traffic to my SaaS product. Like, it's nice I get all of these views and stuff for my personal brand, but how does that actually translate to monetizing my SaaS product and driving website visitors to my SaaS product? So I'm going to break it down step by step, the stuff that I actually do, starting with probably the highest ROI, which is long form content. So if you look at my YouTube channel, there are really only two types of videos I make. Number one is tutorials completely unrelated to Blotato, which I truly enjoy doing. Like, for example, this one is a vibe-coded mini Elden Ring game, which was fun. I used Windsurf AI and 3JS to do this, completely in browser, by the way, which is mind-blowing. Or this video I showed you earlier, simply walking through fun ChatGPT prompts. Both of these have nothing to do with Blotato. It's all about advancing my mission to educate millions of people on how to use AI. So that's bucket number one. Bucket number two are content automation tutorials that have Blotato embedded in them. For example, this one I shared, reposting TikTok videos everywhere. We're using Blotato for the publishing piece, so it's naturally embedded in this automation, and folks who download this automation to try it out will automatically get Blotato in the automation. In my newsletter, at the very end, I add a PS at the bottom. Regardless of what the newsletter topic is, the PS says, hey, I built Blotato to help me grow to 1 million plus followers in 1 year. Okay, and then I also film short form content, usually 1 to 2 TikTok videos per week out of the 20 TikTok videos per week I'm making. And I like to showcase new Blotato features or talk about like my challenges building Blotato. So this did particularly well. I think almost 500,000 views, talking about my easy faceless video API in Blotato. So you don't have to pay for 5 different apps just to make a faceless video. And then this one is talking about a newer feature. Imagine Canva, but with an API. So you can create templated, awesome designs, and then you can automate the creation of the carousels and images. The last piece is building up my affiliate community. So basically reinvesting Blotato revenue back into Blotato users. So I have a self-service affiliate program that runs completely on autopilot. I literally don't have to do anything. And then I also feature Blotato tutorials made by users in my weekly product email. And then I also check YouTube and N8N/make templates that use Blotato, and I reach out to those creators to do paid collaborations. In general, I found it much easier and higher ROI to work with creators who are already using my product versus like convincing new creators to try it. So to recap, this is how I've combined my personal brand and organic Blotato mentions to drive over 1.2 million website visitors in 2025 alone, without paid ads, without SEO or AEO, without a team, and without raising funding. So this is the entire playbook. Make lots of high value education content for free. That builds up my personal brand, then distribute and repurpose the content all over the place, most of the time using Blotato. Then I create one long form YouTube tutorial per week. Sometimes that embeds Blotato naturally. And then I film 1 to 2 TikTok videos per week out of 20 showing my new Blotato features. And last, I close the loop by reinvesting in my Blotato user community through an affiliate program and collaboration. So this is all the stuff I currently do not do: conversion rate optimization, A/B testing, paid ads, webinars, ClickFunnels, SEO, AEO, programmatic SEO, and probably a bunch of other stuff that fancy marketers do. And let me talk real quick, like the philosophy and math behind that. Website optimization results in limited gains. If you're a seasoned marketer, you could probably look at my website and be like, I could improve conversion rate by 30%. Keep in mind, I have not improved or even updated my website since I launched the product. So I'm sure there's like a 30, even 50% lift that you could implement in less than 24 hours. But website optimization alone cannot 10x your numbers. However, going viral with a promotional video or YouTube video or newsletter absolutely can 10x your numbers. So that's why I focus on increasing top of funnel website traffic rather than spending most of my time optimizing the middle of the funnel. And I also spend 80% of my time building products because that's what makes people stay and not churn. So basically my focus looks like very top of funnel, lots of website traffic, and also the very bottom of the funnel, like the actual product itself, which is what makes people stay. Everything in the middle of my funnel is chaotically unoptimized. I honestly don't even look. Many of you are probably wondering like about paid marketing, like do I do any paid marketing ever? And the answer is absolutely yes. Like I would love to just throw money at something that produces results on autopilot with very little involvement from me. But to date, nothing has come close in ROI compared to bringing users in through my own brand, building up that credibility, authority, and just having a natural funnel for those who are interested in content creation or solopreneurship to raise their hand and be like, hey, I'm kind of interested in Blotato now, and you've built a ton of trust and credibility. For me, at this point in time, 2025, I have not figured out a paid marketing channel or approach that has returned positive ROI. It feels honestly like burning money gambling is kind of how I feel about paid marketing at the moment. Again, I would love for this to change, right? I would have loved for my $25,000 in newsletter promos through Passion Fruit to actually return ROI. I would have loved for my $40,000 in paid influencer marketing to return ROI. I would have loved for this $32,000 top TikTok agency to return ROI, etc., etc. But currently, as of 2025, all of these paid marketing initiatives have failed. Now, you could say skill issue, and I'm absolutely not debating that. I'm just sharing so far what's worked for me and how much I've spent. This section's a bit more advanced. So I'm going to talk about how I repurpose content, how I use AI for ideas, and also how I use AI avatars. My philosophy is to choose 1 to 2 platforms where I can focus on making high quality original content and then just repurpose that everywhere else. If you're an intermediate level creator, I truly believe repurposing content is the easiest low hanging fruit to multiply your audience today with zero work. And the beauty of it is that you are starting with your own content already. So the output is already aligned with your thought process and your brand voice. For me, I do a lot of repurposing, but I would say these are my top 2 most important ways I repurpose. So after I film a YouTube video, like I showed you earlier, I repurpose it into that newsletter and social posts. And then like I talked about earlier, after I post a TikTok video, the automation downloads it automatically and cross-posts it to other platforms. And the neat thing about this automation is a tutorial template. So this is the most basic version. But the neat thing about this in N8N is you have a lot of control and flexibility. For example, you could create custom captions optimized for each platform and then publish. You could convert your TikTok video into a carousel for Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn, and then hit publish. You could add a human in the loop step so that it always gets your approval before hitting publish. There are so many ways to really customize and turbocharge this template's automation so that you're repurposing in really unique ways. And just to give you ideas, there's so many ways to repurpose content. If you're doing a podcast, convert it into a newsletter, social posts, and short form videos through a clipping tool. Convert your email newsletter into a 1-page cheat sheet for LinkedIn. Those are doing really well right now. You can convert your tutorial into a lead magnet giveaway post for LinkedIn, like I showed you earlier with mine. You can convert your videos into long form threads for Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads. Imagine that. Convert your social post into an AI avatar selfie video via VO3. Convert your top performing Instagram reels into quote cards or carousels. You can convert your blog post into a carousel video with music for Instagram. You could convert your YouTube video into an AI podcast with Notebook LN. There's dozens and dozens of incredible ways you can repurpose your existing content today, and it gives you a lot of leverage to increase your output, grow on multiple channels without spending a ton more time. I know a lot of people are probably wondering, like, how do I use AI for ideas? So I will expand this section, but at a high level, there are 3 things I'm doing to use AI to help me brainstorm and ideate. Number 1 is documenting stuff I'm already doing. For example, I have Blotato office hours every week. I have Gemini that joins the Google Meet and takes meeting notes. And then I have an automation that extracts interesting content ideas and dumps it into Airtable. GitHub project. So I manage all Blotato development in my GitHub project. I can tag my Claude code if there was an interesting issue or set of challenges I work through. And Claude will basically analyze the issue, analyze the code changes, and dump interesting content ideas into Airtable. Secondly, you can use AI to stay up to date on trending news. For example, this app, rss.app, allows you to subscribe to newsletters, subreddits, social accounts on Instagram and Twitter, and get what everybody's talking about and dump the best ideas into Airtable. You can also use Perplexity for weekly research to dump those trending ideas and conversations into Airtable. And then the last piece I like to use AI for is to find inspiration outside my niche. I actually don't think AI education creators are the best content creators, meaning a lot of us are doing well on social media right now because AI is a trending, hyped topic, but you can get inspiration from many other niches as well. So here I have N8N that can scrape viral TikToks and Reels in other niches. I like to do consumer. Then AI will brainstorm ways you can repurpose that same hook or angle, but related to AI, ChatGPT, or solopreneurship. On my roadmap is to release one automation template that just does all of this for you, so you guys can kind of see like how I'm doing it. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel or my newsletter to get that update. So my newsletter is over here at sabrina.dev if you haven't subscribed yet. Okay, and then let's talk about AI avatars. I feel like I'm well known as an AI avatar person, even though I don't use avatars very often on my personal brand channels. I really only use them on my main channels when I'm out sick or on vacation. And honestly, for me, the first time I did it, it was very risky. I didn't know if I would be like flagged by TikTok or shadow banned by TikTok. One thing I want to emphasize though is that I view AI avatars as just another medium or tool. AI avatars primarily help the creators so that they can scale content production without having to edit raw clips every single time. I don't believe AI avatars add value to viewers, right? They're really there to help the creators. The responsibility and the challenge of making incredibly high quality content is still on you, the creator, to figure out. And it honestly doesn't matter whether you use an avatar, show your face, or go faceless. Any of these formats can work, but you still have to make really high quality content that people actually want to watch. Now, one question I often get is, do AI avatars perform well on social media? Obviously, don't take my word for it. I'll just show you some examples. So here, this is one video, 32,000 likes, hundreds and thousands of views. Here's another one, which interestingly is just my avatar, right? Like this is a super basic screenshot at the very end of the video, but most of the video is just my avatar without anything else. Also hundreds of thousands of views. Here's another one, hundreds of thousands of views. And this is a newer one from last week. So not hundreds of thousands of views yet, but over 100,000 views. So short answer, yes, AI avatars can absolutely work on social media, but they can easily flop as well. Like it's all about making high quality content people want to watch, whether it's an avatar or not. If you are interested in creating a super high quality avatar that represents your brand and stuff, I have a step-by-step tutorial where I walk through how I do mine in HeyGen and hook it up to my 11 Labs professional voice. My approach is my AI avatar will always wear a hat. That way my audience instantly knows it's my AI avatar. And again, I really only use it personally when I'm sick or on vacation. This may change in the future, right? But as of September 2025, I really only use my avatar when I'm sick or on vacation. Caveat, if you are new to content creation, like please don't assume your avatar makes it any easier or automates away the work. Creating content in general involves a lot of failure, a lot of trial and error, a lot of dark moments, second guessing yourself and like whether you're worth listening to, and feeling sad when nobody views your content. I think all creators have experienced this range of emotions, and it doesn't matter whether you're using AI or not, you still have to go through all of these things. So don't assume because you're using AI or automation or avatars that content creation is any easier. The fact is that it's easier than ever for everyone to create content, and there's going to be more and more content, which will make it harder to compete for people's attention. But to wrap it up in this video, I'm just going to briefly talk about the tools I use, analytics, and experiments. Airtable or Notion, right, to track content ideas. Like I shared earlier, how I use AI for ideas. By the time I sit down Saturday, 1 p.m. to start filming TikToks, I already have a list of 30 ideas that AI has helped research, or it's helped document from stuff I'm already doing, or also just random ideas I have throughout the week, and I just dump them in Airtable. I use an app called Tella to film long form YouTube tutorials. There's nothing fancy in it. It's really the same as any other app. You can use whatever. I use TikTok native mobile app to film my short form videos. It's just the cleanest, easiest experience in my view. Also, obviously I use Blotato to help me repurpose content, brainstorm hooks and scripts, publish and schedule posts, and also create media heavy assets instead of using Canva. So quote cards, carousels, avatar videos with B-roll, etc. Like I just mentioned, HeyGen 11 Labs for my avatar videos, Google Analytics to track basic stuff like just newsletter traffic and my website traffic. This app is neatfreedom.2. It helps me just stay focused and avoid distractions, and RSS.app to follow social accounts and news. This may surprise people, but I'm not very heavy on analytics. I really only care about, did I do the inputs? Like, did I make my video, my newsletter, and my short videos? And is my newsletter subscriber count growing? As of this moment in 2025, I'm not personally optimizing for how fast I grow. Again, I only make content 1 day a week, and all of the rest of that time is put into building product for my SaaS app. Real quick, let me talk about a couple failed experiments. So I have not figured out Pinterest and Snapchat, to be honest with you. I reposted TikToks on both of these platforms, but literally 0 followers on both. I also set up an AI automation to automatically translate my TikToks to Spanish and Portuguese, but those TikTok accounts were pretty quickly shadow banned. I still believe like these things should work. I just need to like sit down and actually figure out the right strategy or approach. And then in terms of my upcoming experiments, so I've decided to try live streaming every Friday night and potentially extracting clips from that. As of 2025, I personally don't feel that live streaming is a great investment in terms of time spent and the ROI you get. But, you know, my husband and I enjoy playing video games, so this is more of a relax and hang out type of session. I also want to experiment more on Twitter, so maybe do 1 to 2 short tweets per day, and then set up an automation that just grabs my tweets, cross-posts it to Threads and Blue Sky and Substack, while also making a nice quote card carousel for Instagram or LinkedIn. So this is something I plan to set up. And then I'm also interested in trying clippers to take my personal brand content, clip it, and drive traffic to my YouTube or newsletter. Unfortunately, clippers didn't work well promoting a B2B SaaS app, but maybe it could work better promoting my personal brand. I have no idea. So this is just an experiment I'd be interested in doing. To wrap it up, this playbook is applicable if you are building a personal brand and also building some kind of SaaS app or AI app as a solopreneur. I largely talked about building my personal brand first, but then how do I funnel the right people to my SaaS app as well? There are many other approaches in terms of leveraging organic social media traffic. So my app is a B2B SaaS app, but if you are building a B2C consumer mobile app, for example, there's a whole other universe of approaches that do not require building a personal brand. You can build up an army of UGC creators and clippers who are repeatedly going viral showing your product, but they're not at all building a personal brand. My favorite resource if you are building B2C consumer and trying to go viral on TikTok is Social Growth Engineers. And it just has so many different examples of B2C apps figuring out repeatable viral formats for TikTok and Reels. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe, and drop your comments and questions below. Thanks for watching.